everybody, and thank you for coming. And I'm so privileged and honored to be here to talk about my life and flight and everything in front of especially that many women. And based on my background, I study in a mechanical engineering department, working in a space agency in Korea. You can imagine that how many women in my life, not that many. So I'm more comfortable to talk in front of 1,000 of the guy rather than 100 of women. So sometimes I feel nervous. Oh, too many women. So yeah, today I really want to share how I feel, what did I think. Of course, whole night is not enough to talk about whole series of the things happen, but I really want to more focus about what I think during the flight and then what I feel during that time. So I titled my presentation, Mindfulness from the Weightlessness. And I still remember that day. That day is the launch day, so 2008, April 8th. And maybe some of you already recognize that old lady, and she's the first woman in the world flew in space around 1960. And I read about her, and I heard about her, and I know she's a Russian. So during my training in Russia, I hope I can meet her at least one time. And luckily, I just passed by her and say hello to her during my training, but didn't have enough time to talk with her. But on the launch date, I've never seen her name on the list of the whole delegation and guest, because until that time, Russian space program is under the military, so they control everybody who entered the place, and coming there is a huge, high level of the security. So I couldn't know who will come in the list of the guests, but she was not there. So I didn't expect she will be there. But once I walk up to the bus, wear the space suit, big, huge white space suit like that, and going to the launch pad and take off the bus. She was smiling in front of me, in front of the bus. And then, wow, that's something. And then she held my arms. And at the time, I couldn't feel like she's the hero of the world at all because she was trembling. Soyeon, it will be okay, don't worry about it. It will be okay, don't worry about it. It's almost like my grandma, yeah. It is, really. So you look at my face, it's quite smiley, and I don't know what happened, everything's happy, but her face is, And then I realized that for her, it's okay to fly. For her, it's okay to be in danger. For her, I'm an astronaut, but I don't want to put my granddaughter in that place. So that is a kind of same feeling of woman, right? Yeah. So all the women in Korea, they always tell me, oh my God, your mom would be so proud of you. You are a great woman. But my mom's reaction is, I don't like it. I don't want to put my girl in that creepy metal things. Yeah. So I could feel that warm heart from her at the time. She was not the first female astronaut at all at the time. She was almost like my grandmom. And then actually there is my husband, and he also feels that because for a while we met her, and then at the time he was my date, not husband. She keep asking, what are you guys doing? Who you are? How can you meet? So she was another my mom to my husband kind of thing. So that was a really wonderful moment to have her right before my launch. And finally, I stepped on the stairs, about to fly. But some of you heard that somebody kicked me on behind. I almost fall down. And then, what happened? And then I almost say F word, but there's a camera. There's a lot of people. I know it's a televised in Korea. And I step up, and what happened? And then one of my astronaut friends said that, so didn't you know that? And I, what? And he said that it's a Russian tradition. What? If any your family member, loved people has a long journey, they pray for good luck and then kick them behind in front of the door. So they expect to be kicked. But I didn't know that because I'm a Korean. So, but I cannot mad at that because it is the goodwill, right? They really want me to safe flight. So there was one of a really interesting moment with a different culture, but I get as a lovely action. And finally get on top of the rocket, and I had a lunch, and finally get onto the space station. And could you play the video?
Fly me to the moon and let me play among these stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Feel my heart is song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. And in other words, please be true. In other words, I love you.
But you should remember, I didn't go up to sing. And thank God there's no kids over there, because if I don't talk about any science, any mission at all, they just believe I just had a fun during the whole flight. But actually not. Today, I just want to share this happy part rather than a hard part. So if you want to hear a more serious mission part, please talk to Josh, and he will contact me, and then I will tell you more serious one later. And then one mistake I made during these videos, recently I realized that. And I should have somebody right next to me rather than a Russian guy, but the American guy. Because hold my hands, I reach my hands, but he didn't hold my hands at all. So I feel so embarrassing. Oh, hold my hand, no. So what if American astronaut right next to me, maybe he will hold and then kiss me. So it's also cultural difference. Yeah, so it is the last day of my flight, and we had a farewell party because some of the crew should go down to the earth, and some of the crew should stay over there next 6 months. And then because I'm a Korean astronaut, not Russian, not American, so I just visit those transition times. So I went up with a new crew and then coming down with the old crew. So it is a really touching moment, and then those videos shows you how space station look like, how you kind of floating over, and some Korean old gentleman told me, you better step on top of the dining table, but I didn't step on. I just floating right behind. But yeah, occasionally my height of my feet is exactly same height of the tables, but I never step on top of the table. That's the zero gravity. You can fly. And you can do the flying kick even if you've never training for the kind of Tai Chi or something. But actually, I played Taekwondo. I had a black belt, but I've never tried those flying kick. Whenever I watch the movie, Jackie Chan in there, I dream to be a partner of him and then flying kick to the bad guys. But finally, I can do that in space. And also, I brought a lot of the Korean kind of memorabilia and then cultural activity because I'm the first Korean citizen in space. And also all the astronauts, we are representative of the whole globe of Earth. So we believe we should do something for the peaceful Earth. Of course, nowadays it's not that kind of peaceful, but we always think about what we can do. And then one of my friends said that, please make all the leader of the country bring the space and then let them look down to the earth, how peaceful it is. They should do something. And then we always think in that way. And one great thing you can do during the space flight is to look down to the earth. Never get bored. I've never met any astronaut who told me I get bored to watching down to the earth because it is beautiful. And then I have some good metaphor because look down to the earth is somebody asked me, how it looks down to the earth. I said, it's exactly same as you look into the Google Earth. Yeah. Exactly. I can tell, yeah. Nowadays, technology is really good. They can show you on time, exactly on time, live. But why astronauts feel differently? Because I love Matt Damon. I met all Bourne series. whenever they replay the Bond series, I always watch it again and again and again. So I know how Matt Damon looks like. But even Matt Damon, if I have 24/7 his face in front of the TV, I would be bored. Yeah. But what if I met him in person? I can spend whole night and then maybe several months to talk with him. Because he is a live human who can interact with you. So that is the difference. Photo, real person is different. You know what? You can see what I'm talking about through the YouTube, but why you came here with buying ticket? Because you want to interact with me, person to person, right? So when I go up to the space, look down to the earth, that is real earth. I can see the forming of the typhoon. I can see the peninsula of the Korean Bay things. I can see the whole dust is running around the Egyptian area. And that was incredible. I could see the live, breathing earth. That's really beautiful. So never get bored. The only problem is we don't have enough time to enjoy because all astronauts has a really busy schedule. And moon and stars, of course, same from here because moon is several thousand kilometers away, but I'm only 400 miles away from the earth. So as somebody who is in the moon, and if they can see earth, astronaut in space station, people like us on the earth, no difference, just far away. So if you look up to the moon in the space station, pretty much the same. Stars, they are all far, far, far away. Yeah, several light years away. So same constellation, same formation, same size, but only different thing is color. Because we don't have atmosphere between the star and Earth, so we can see the distinct color of the star. But in your bare eyes, in night sky, most of the stars are yellowish. You don't have a color at all. But for me, 7 stars in the Big Dipper, all 7 has a different color. So I can tell you, if you go up to above the atmosphere, you can see the color TV. But here you have black and white TV. Sorry for you guys. And one thing I cannot pass during my presentation is, when Valentina Tereshkova, the first female astronaut, fly, Yuri Gagarin, John Glenn, Alan Shepard, when they fly, they always come down and during the interview they said, we cannot see any border between the country. Earth is one. It's a peaceful blue globe kind of thing. But nowadays, astronaut in our generation, we cannot say that because we could see distinct border between the country, especially at night. This photo is taken by my friend who's Scott Kelly, and he sent me to during his flight. And then that bright area, Seoul. Total dark, North Korea. So especially rich country, poor country, they are side by side each other. At night, you could see distinct border because of the street light, electricity. So maybe between the America and Mexico. And then one of the famous border is India and Pakistan, China and Mongolia. We always have a distinct border that make all astronauts feel so sad. And I can help thinking about that. Why on earth I was born in South Korea? Why we were born in this country? Why we were born in your family? What makes you were born be a daughter of your mom? We've never write down the resume. We've never submit any application. I've never submit application for being daughter of my mom at all, but I luckily am blessed to be daughter of my mom. I've never applied for being a Korean citizen before my birth, but I was born over there. I grew up over there. I've never picked the timing, 1978. What if I were born 1910 in Korea? What if I were born 1950 in Korea, even if in same geographic area? What if you were born in US 1900? Then your life would be totally changing. So actually, even if we have a really somehow good life, somehow better life, but first step, was not by you. So how much you will be successful is not fully yours. How poor you will be also is not yours. So at some point, we should be so grateful where we are, what we have. Yeah. So I could think like that in the space. What if God throw me a little further if I were born in North Korea? Can I be a doctor? Can I go to the school? Can I be an astronaut? No way. What if he throw me a little more further in the middle of the China? Do I have a birth certificate as a woman with a several brother? I don't think so. Maybe I couldn't go to the school. What if he throw a little further in Jupiter or Mars? Maybe I cannot survive. Right after birth, I could be killed. So even today, I hate about the traffic jam in I-5 and 167, and oh my God. But you know what? We should be grateful. It means we have a freeway. It means you have a car to drive. It means you have somewhere to go. A lot of people in the world, they don't have those. So they don't have anything to complain. Whenever I complain about Comcast in the middle of the conference call, oh my God, whenever I have a conference call, Comcast slow down and beep, beep, beep. Soyeon, you're an astronaut. You should be grateful for whatever you have. Okay, thank God I'm living in the world that has an internet. Yeah. So that's the one thing I got from my space flight. So I want to wrapping up my presentation. Of course, that movie is at the end, but right before, I really want to share the one person who inspired me a lot before and after my flight. His name is Tsiolkovsky. He's the great mind in Russia. He's the first person who think about the space station hole in the world 100 years ago. Even at the time, we don't have a passenger airplane. He was the first person who think about multi-step rocket. To go to the space, we should have a multi-step rocket in the world first time. So all rocket scientists, all engineers, if they learn about a rocket, they cannot help knowing him, actually. And he said that a planet is the cradle of humanity, but one should not live in a cradle forever. So actually, all the astronauts, we believe, after reading that, yeah, that's because we should go to the space, because Earth is our cradle, but we should not be in a cradle forever. We should challenge ourselves. But you don't have to be an astronaut to be inspired by that words. Cradle can be your school. Cradle can be your job. Cradle can be your family. Cradle can be your town. Any place you feel comfortable is your cradle. But why we shouldn't be in a cradle forever? Because if a baby is in a cradle forever, what happened? They cannot eat any other things but milk. They should have a diaper forever. To be grown up, to do by himself whatever he want to do, to eat something really delicious like a donut, they should get out of the cradle. And they should challenge themselves. Get out of the cradle. You should have your baby look at that and get out of the cradle. They crawl and messy old face to eat something. Sometimes they pee out of the toilet, make a huge mess. But after all those series of the years, finally he can go to the restroom by himself. Finally he can use a chopsticks or a fork or a spoon. So we needed that time. And then we realized we were born to be there. So me too. When I left Korea first time, Korea is my cradle because I'm an astronaut. Wherever I go, everybody recognizes me. They always treat me free dinner, really fancy one. And whatever house I knock the door, they always welcome me. But once I move in US and nobody knows me, and then even I still cannot find a job at all, and then I should prove myself how good I am, it's really hard. But I always reminded that was, yes, I'm out of the cradle. I need some time to grow up. I need some time to challenge myself. And maybe that would be the wonderful opportunity, make me another step to go forward. So hopefully all you guys, maybe you are in the middle of the cradle, maybe you are at the step out of the cradle, do I need to go or not, kind of thing, or you are already out of the cradle, no matter what. Remember, we should not be in a cradle. We always go forward. We always thinking about what should be next. And then, as Tiffany said that, pain is not everything. We always have another thing next. So I want to wrap up my presentation. Now that's the video time, and thank you very much.